Hello YouTube and welcome to Prime Productions. I'm here to help enhance your tabletop gaming experience. If you're new to this channel, I primarily cover Paizo tabletop role-playing games like Pathfinder and Starfinder. And if you want to help me out, I have a Patreon and Discord, more info at the end of the video. So it's that time again. Every month, Paizo puts out a live stream called Paizo Live. Here they talk about their upcoming projects, hyping new things, and releases coming down the pipeline. You can find these videos on Twitch and YouTube, link in the description below, but I also like to do a brief summary of them for those who don't want to sit through a 2-hour live stream on Twitch or YouTube with a bunch of advertisements, so here we go. And of course, listen, writing and editing a script and doing video editing, it all takes time. If I want to get these summaries out in a timely manner, this is just going to be an unscripted video without a whole lot of interesting things to look at. I'm sorry. This is just going to be a quickie video where I may have a few ums or a uhs, or I may misspeak, and to reiterate, link to the full official videos will be in the description below. Now, this Paizo Live was very different. They announced a new playtest for 2 new classes. The playtest for these classes will be coming out Tuesday, February 17th, 2026, and yes, I will do my best to break them down when they do come out. However, they ran a super short adventure with some of the playtest characters to show some things off, and that was the video for this week. Now, if you want more Paizo Live, they will be doing some bonus videos at the end of February, so I will try to cover those when they come out, just to let you know. Anyway, after the initial banter that starts every Paizo Live, they got into it. So the title of this playtest is called Risk and Rewards. I don't know if that's going to be the title of the new book that has these classes in it. That's just the title of the playtest. The video premise was that 4 PCs arrive at an adventurer's feast, only to figure out that it's an Ugathoan feast of adventurers, not for adventurers. In other words, the plan was to eat the party. The PCs were the iconic cleric and sorcerer, Kira and Sione respectively, and the 2 new classes, which are Daredevil and Slayer. Both appear to be martial classes. Now, we didn't get much of an explanation of their abilities, they just played the game, but we can glean a few things. So the Daredevil was played by this guy named Jason Keeley, and the Daredevil that he played, his name was Metmos. Daredevil seems very swashbuckler-esque, high dexterity, and they added bonuses from combat maneuvers like shove, trip, and tumble through. It was kind of evocative of a gymnast swashbuckler. Metmos had a few abilities that they showed off, such as propelling stride. If they start adjacent to a quote-unquote prop like a wall or a statue, they can get a bonus to move speed. They also had something called tumbling tricks. If they crit succeeded on a check to tumble through, their movement didn't trigger reactions, but if they crit failed, they were off guard. And it also had the risky trait. I think the risky trait is like the swashbuckler's bravado trait. It gives Daredevil's adrenaline, much how bravado gives swashbucklers panache. We also saw a bunch of other stuff, such as daring stunt. This is a one-action activity that allows them to do one of these maneuvers here, and if they succeed, it gives you adrenaline. That seems to be the bread and butter ability for generating adrenaline for the Daredevil, and it's really useful because adrenaline goes away at the end of your next turn, so you have to keep on generating it. They also showed off Pressing Pummel, a 2-action activity with the press trait, and if that succeeds, it deals an additional 1d10 damage. It's kind of like Vicious Swing or what was known as Power Attack, but the bonus damage is set at 1d10. They also showed off that if Daredevils have adrenaline and take a press action, they have a reduced multi-attack penalty, so they kind of work as Flurry Rangers in that regard. They also showed off another ability called Forceful Kickoff, which reminded me of the One Piece live-action Netflix show. All in all, the Daredevil reminded me a bunch of the Prince of Persia games, if anybody remembers those. Lots of jumping off of walls and doing crazy stunts to get bonuses to attack. All in all, I think the Daredevil is going to be a little bit like the Commander in that they have a set list of stunts that they can choose from a larger list, kind of like how the Commander has like commands that they can give out, but they only know a few from a larger folio. But again, that's just my impression. I'm just shooting from the hip. I don't know if that's how it actually works. This is just kind of me theorizing. The Slayer was played by the Paizo employee Costin here and was named Eastleaf. And the Slayer seemed very Ranger-esque. Their big gameplay mechanic, as far as I can tell, is to designate an enemy, which takes 10 minutes, so you have to do it out of combat, called a quarry. If you then defeat that enemy, you can claim a trophy from them, and trophies can be used to upgrade your weapons. I think this is called a signature tool. As an example, Eastleaf here had a Frost Drake scale added to their spear, which added a d6 cold damage to their attack. The subject of your quarry also has lessened resistances from your attacks from your signature tool weapon thing, and that's equal to 1+ weapon damage dice. They also had a few other abilities that they showed off. On the Hunt seems really strong. As a reaction, when a player just sees a creature die, even if they are not the one who killed them, they become hasted for 1 round, which again seems really powerful. They also showed off a feat called Honed Strike. You spend 2 actions and attack with your signature tool, which is, again, I think that weapon that has the trophy on it, and the attack has a +2 to hit and ignores cover. Now this seems really powerful, but it's actually very similar to the Ranger or the Big Game Hunter's Aim feat, so there's precedent for it. They also showed off Sudden Pounce, a 2-action long jump, and if you end adjacent to an enemy, you get to attack them, and if you had jumped at least 15 feet, the enemy is off guard. That's really evocative of like the Dragoons from Final Fantasy games, if anybody has seen those. Final thoughts on the Slayer, very evocative of the Monster Hunter video game. I think the way they work is that Quarry lets you add 1 specific bonus to an item from like a larger list, and I think it's not going to be specific. I think it's going to be very generalized. Like maybe there's an energy damage bonus that's like, if you defeated an enemy that had an energy attack, you can put their trophy and it does energy damage. But it's not going to be as specific as like a Frost Drake scale. I also think that you probably can't have more than 1 trophy on a weapon. So you can't like stack up a whole bunch of bonuses. All right, so remember the playtest will be coming out Tuesday, February 17th. You can find it on Paizo. There will be a special forum set up on the Paizo forums so you can discuss it. There's going to be a questionnaire, so you can do that as well. I know a lot of Pathfinder players are getting angry that Paizo isn't listening to their feedback, so I mean, this is the perfect opportunity to give feedback as soon as those playtest classes drop. Final thoughts overall. I think that the Slayer is very reminiscent of a Ranger, and I think that the Daredevil is very reminiscent of a Swashbuckler, but I think there's enough change here that it would be too much of a hassle to turn them into just class archetypes. Like getting rid of a Ranger's Hunt Prey for the quarry mechanic of the Slayer seems like it would take a lot of work. Might as well make it a new class. I don't know. I haven't seen the full classes. Obviously, those come out Tuesday, so I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. Finally, one last thing to talk about from the live stream. They acknowledge that the recently dropped errata has had some problems in the community, but they weren't going to talk about it in this particular live stream. They're probably going to discuss it in those 2 live streams that come out at the end of February. But yes, they are aware that the new errata is causing some problems. Go check it out on the Paizo forums. It's all over the place on what people are talking about. They also didn't have a Q&A this week since it was just a couple of fights and the classes aren't even out yet. The playtest classes aren't even out yet, I mean. So anyway, that's all I had to say for today. I know, today is a super short video, I'm sorry. Hey, as a reminder, I have a Patreon. I'm going to try and post something fun there once a month, but honestly, it's just a way to keep this channel financially viable. For less than the cost of a cup of coffee a month, you can help me buy new equipment like new microphones and such. And of course, I have a Discord channel. Drop by and say hi. I'd love to hear from you. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That tells not only me, but also YouTube that you like this kind of content and would like to see more. And until next time, thank you, good luck, and happy gaming.